Welcome to Fanfield Fiction. We're back on Final Fantasy VII content. Today, we're going to look at the first person to join the party, Barret Wallace. Barret Wallace is one of the leaders of the eco-terrorist anti-Shinra group Avalanche. He's a tall, muscular, bearded man with a gun for a right arm. He's a loud, boisterous individual who would openly wear his feelings on his sleeve, if he actually had sleeves. He's a hot-blooded man, and while his gruff personality often makes him seem cold, he has a real heart, which is never shown better than when he interacts with his adopted daughter Marlene, and how he says that the reason he fights is because he wants the world to be a better place for her. As you'd expect for a man with a gun for an arm, Barret is a ranged fighter, using his guns to pepper foes with barrages of bullets. Barret hates Shinra. He was born in a coal mining town, Corel, and when coal began to be supplanted by Shinra's Mako energy, a representative from Shinra worked with the town to establish a Mako reactor nearby. However, after the reactor was bombed by an extremist group, Shinra retaliated by slaughtering everyone in town and burning it to the ground. Barret and his friend Dyne were out of town when the attack happened, and as they attempted to return, they were cornered by Shinra soldiers. Dyne fell off a cliff, and Barret grabbed his hand, but the Shinra executive Scarlet shot Barret's arm, making him drop Dyne to his death. Barret made his way back to Corel, where he discovered the bodies of his friends and his wife Myrna. It was then that he found Dyne's daughter, the infant Marlene, and to ensure his friend's legacy lived on, he adopted Marlene and raised her as his daughter. Barret was depressed for a while after the loss of his arm, but he eventually threw away his prosthetic and had a gun grafted in, a weapon to strike back at Shinra, who had taken everything from him. And here's where I'll put a spoiler warning for Barret. Go to the timestamp on screen now to skip the spoilers. It turned out that Dyne had survived his fall, and he, like Barret, had replaced his arm with a gun prosthetic, though his was on his left arm. During Barret's travels with Cloud, he met Dyne, who was now a man with nothing to live for, a man with nothing but hate and anger for the world and himself. When Barret told him that Marlene was still alive, Dyne insisted that he needed to take Marlene to her mother, implying he was going to kill her. When Barret defeated Dyne, he told Barret that something inside him was broken, and that his hands were stained with too much blood for them to hold Marlene again. With a final demand of Barret, "Don't you ever make her cry," Dyne stepped back off of the cliff he and Barret were fighting on, presumably to his death. Barret sank to his knees in anguish. He had just found his best friend and lost him again in the span of just a few minutes, and he proclaimed that his hands weren't any cleaner than Dyne's. I've already touched on Barret's personality, but I'll expand a little more. Barret is a gruff, aggressive man, but he truly does have a heart of gold. He's a great father to Marlene, and while he can be loud and often tactless, it's very clear that he cares about the planet and all that live on it. Barret, of course, uses arm-mounted weapons. Most are guns of some kind, but he has a few other weapons, a chainsaw, a drill, the atomic scissors, which, curiously, show up on the wrong arm in the original release, and so on, but Barret's bread and butter are guns. He starts with the Gatling gun, a multi-barreled rotary machine gun, which is also the most iconic gun he uses. Barret's ultimate weapon is the Missing Score, a rather unique-looking weapon found fairly late in the game and completely missable if you don't have Barret with you at the right time. The chest holding it simply won't appear if Barret isn't in the party. The Missing Score increases its damage based on the level of materia equipped to it. This means that the more high-level materia you have equipped on it, the more damage Barret will do with it. Because of this damage formula, Barret is one of only two characters that can reliably execute the damage overflow glitch. To quickly sum up exactly what the damage overflow glitch is, it's where the game is given a damage value outside of the bounds of its 32-bit processing system, and, since it doesn't know what to do with that number, it simply kills the target while displaying a strange number or even a glitched number. This glitch is extremely useful for late-game fights, most notably the optional superboss Emerald Weapon. If you want to learn more about the overflow glitch, 4-8 Productions has a great video covering it in detail, and I'll link that down in the description. Barret's limits are, fitting his weapon of choice, almost all ranged attacks, and all but one are direct physical damage. Starting with Barret's level 1 limits, his first is Big Shot. Big Shot charges up a fireball and hits a single target for 3¼ times normal damage. Barret's second level 1 limit is Mind Blow, which fires a blue ball of energy at a single target, depleting all of their magic points. This is a gravity element attack, so most bosses are immune to it. His first level 2 limit is Grenade Bomb, which launches a grenade in the middle of an enemy group, dealing 3 3/8 normal damage if there's only a single target, but will hit all enemies for less. His second level 2 limit is Hammer Blow, and is his one non-ranged limit. Hammer Blow strikes a single enemy, inflicting instant death, though many enemies, and especially bosses, are immune to instant death attacks. Barret's first level 3 limit is Satellite Beam, which fires a beam from above and hits all enemies for automatic critical damage with base 2 3/16 normal damage. Barret's second level 3 limit is Anger Max, transliterated as Ungar Max in the original PS1 version, and it fires 18 shots at random enemies for half normal damage per hit. Finally, Barret's final limit break is Catastrophe. Catastrophe launches Barret up into the sky, then fires a massive golden beam that hits 10 times on random targets for 1 1/4 normal damage per hit. Barret has, over the years, been accused of being a black stereotype. As someone that is not black, I don't have the full proper scope to comment on it from a black perspective, but I can see where the criticism comes from. He's loud, has exaggerated speech and mannerisms, and is occasionally relegated to a comic relief role, something that has too often been relegated to the token black character of a group. When I look at Barret, I don't see the stereotypes. Those elements are far surpassed by his positive qualities. He's a good man, a hero, an excellent parent, a great commanding officer, and is one of the first characters to fully acknowledge that his acts of eco-terrorism against Shinra do have consequences for innocent civilians. And, in the remake, he's very vocal about the hypocrisy of working for an evil corporation. Just following orders is never an acceptable excuse. Barret is willing to put his life on the line for what he believes in, and to make the world a better place for Marlene. Thanks for watching! Next time, we'll be looking at everyone's favorite gorgeous brawler. If you liked what you just watched, don't worry, there's more on the way. Please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. It takes 2 seconds for you and really helps the channel out. See you in the next one.